Antiderivative. That's the lesson for today. Let's get into that. So there are two main branches of calculus, and one of them we have been talking about that was called the differential calculus, that has got to do with the slope of a tangent line to a given curve. And then basically any of the functional analysis, the curvature analysis, concavity, critical points, and all of that was based on differential calculus, basically understanding the behavior of the function. But there's another branch of calculus called the integral calculus, and that has its own utility that is very, very important, especially when it comes to area under the curve of any functions. All right. Now, to start the concept of integral calculus, we need to understand the concept of antiderivative first. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's do a quick review. Let's suppose we have a f of x equal to x squared. That's the original function. And we want to differentiate, take the first derivative of x squared. Well, that would be based on the power rule, will easily be 2x squared. So example 1, we have this function x squared. We want to take the derivative of it. Well, that would be 2x. Very simple. Is that right? So what that means is that 2x is the derivative. So here it is. So we differentiated x squared. We got 2x. And this is going forward. But then what if we have 2x and we're going to go backwards? If this is the derivative, then going backwards is antiderivative. That means we are undoing the derivative functionality. So when you go backwards 2x and then you get x squared back, we call x squared is antiderivative of 2x, and 2x is the derivative of x squared. Okay, so that's what that is. And we are using the power rule. Basically, if you have x to the n, differentiating ddx of x to the n is equal to n times x to the n minus 1. So this is the power rule that we are using. Okay, so it's very simple. Now, if we say what is the antiderivative of 2x, what it means is that we want to get the original function back. Okay, that's what it means by antiderivative. It's just undoing the original derivative. So let's look at another question, which is the same as the first question, but there is a little bit of a interesting thing about that. So when we take the derivative of the x squared plus 1, we're going to get 2x plus 0, which is equal to 2x. Well, notice that this function x squared plus 1, this is a parabola moving upward by a unit of 1, but this is the original parabola right here, x squared, that's a quadratic function. It's vertex at 0, 0. Well, these two are not the same function, but the derivative of the two functions are exactly the same. Now, if you go ahead and want to go and find, so this is the derivative, right? So right here, so we got the derivative. Well, what if we want to go back? Can we go back and get x squared plus 1 by doing the antiderivative of 2x and get the x squared plus 1 back? With the derivative, you only have one derivative of a function. You don't have another one. It's very unique. But with antiderivative, you can have infinitely many, because I can rewrite another function, f of x equal to x squared, and I can put in here any number c, constant c, and the derivative of that will end up being 2x. Okay, so the f prime of x will always be 2x regardless of what this constant is. So with the antiderivative, we can only find one of many, but we can put it in a general form, and I can explain that in later examples. Okay, let's do another example. Now this example is interesting because now we're going to go backwards. So we're going to use this power rule here, nx to the n minus 1, but we're going to go backwards and use that to find the actual original function. So now this is the function that is being that is a differentiated function. So the derivative is given by this function f of x equal to 2x cubed. We want to know what is the antiderivative of f of x. That means we want to know what is one of the original possible functions. So one of original functions, okay? That's what antiderivative is. So we know that there is a power of 3. That means it's been reduced by 1 to get the 3. So we know that the antiderivative of f of x, let's call that capital F of x, it starts with x to the 4th. We know that. The x to the 4th is not the only thing. We have this 2 we have to find as well. So when you do the derivative of x to the 4th, ddx of x to the 4th, that becomes 4x cubed. Very good. I need you to focus on this x cubed right now. So we got the x cubed here. We have x cubed there. So that's very good. But we ended up getting 4x cubed, but here is 2x cubed. So it turns out that when we have x to the 4, the derivative of that will be 4x cubed, but we don't want 4x cubed, we want 2x cubed. So it makes sense that we get the original function 1 over 2 because half of 4 is 2, and then we divided 1 over 2. Now we can test this. So what is the derivative of what is f prime of x, which is this. Okay, we're going to take the derivative, so that would be 1/2 times 4x to the 3. Do the simplification, that would be 2x to the 3. Okay, very good. So that would be one of the antiderivatives. And because we don't know the other constant, we just add another constant c to that, because when you take the derivative of that, you will end up getting the constant will be 0. So that will get you the same function back. So to finish that off, we'll end up saying that the original function, the antiderivative, which is f of x, is 1/2 x to the 4th plus c for any constant. Okay, let's do another one. So we have a derivative of a function is given by x to the 5th. We want to find the antiderivative of f of x or the original function. Okay, so remember that to get x to the 5th after differentiation, that means you must have started with, so the f of x, you must have started with x to the 6. Okay, because remember, ddx of x to the 6 is equal to 6 times x to the 5. And this x to the 5th is the one that we are looking at, and then we have that. Now, when you take the derivative of x to the 6, you do have this 6 constant in front, but it seems that this doesn't have one, so you have to eliminate that. So to eliminate that, you include, so now we have to include that. So the final answer, one of the answers will be 1 over 6 x to the 6, and then plus c, because again, this is an antiderivative. It is not the antiderivative. It's one of many. We don't know exactly which one, but it is one of them, and here it is. And when you take the derivative of this, you will end up getting x to the 5th, and let's do that. What is the f prime of x, which is, by the way, f of x? So that would be 1 over 6 times 6 x to the 5th, right? Plus 0, because the derivative of a constant c is 0, and then 6 divided by 6 is 1, so that would be x to the 5th, which is what that is. All right, now that we have this, let's put the antiderivative as a formula, and the formula for antiderivative, so to find the antiderivative of x to the n, it is 1 over n plus 1 times x to the n plus 1. This is the formula for getting the antiderivative. Okay, so that's what that is. And let's do one more and then we'll stop. Example 5, what is an antiderivative of f of x equal to 2 to the e to the x? Okay, this is the exponential function, especially the e function. So we know that the derivative of e to the x is e to the x. So the antiderivative of e to the x is actually itself. We know that. So if we say f will be the antiderivative of original function, we know that e to the x is the antiderivative and a derivative itself. That's not going to change. And these two, remember, d dx of 2 times e to the x is 2 times d dx of e to the x. That's not going to change, right? So when you do this, and doesn't matter what I have in front, this constant isn't going to change it. So the 2 goes in front, and then you take the derivative of e to the x, and the final answer will be f of x equal to 2 times e to the x, and then plus c. And then if you don't have the plus c, that will give you one of the antiderivatives, and you add the plus c, then you will have many of them, the general form. All right, make sure, take that quiz after reviewing this lesson, and then check out the next video in this series. Until next time.